Yes, bingo. I'm alive. That went so much faster. I think that's the fastest it's ever gone. The circle. The circle. Hello, lovely ladies. Jules is in the house. Lori is in the house. Hello, hello. I do want to say happy Father's Day to anyone that might watch this later. We adore you, fathers. Thank you. Even if you've done wrong, we forgive and we have compassion because why? You're human. You're doing the best you can with what you got. So we do adore you. All right. Real quick before I jump in, um, the shadow work course or the shadow work class, I had to break down my shadow work, very lengthy workshops into parts. One was supposed to be tonight, but me not thinking that it was Father's Day, everything's been moved to next Sunday night from 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10. It's part one, self identity stuff. And then um, each part, there's 5 parts. It'll be, the class will repeat every month between now and October. If you follow with me, um, yeah, you can release and heal and forgive and accept and all sorts of great jazzy stuff before we get into the winter months and then really be able to come out next spring as like a whole new person. It's gonna be it's pretty glorious. Normally I do my big shadow work, very lengthy workshops just in the fall. So therefore, then by the spring, everybody's um, done a lot of transforming, transmutation, all sorts of stuff, but it's been kind of requested that I break it up. So I'm doing that. I'm trying to break up everything. And also, I just got done about 20, 40 minutes ago recording an interview with beautiful Lindsay from Rogue Ways. That was such a good interview, and my mind is a little bit still in that interview. So the message today, I'm going to try to stay on track, guys. I really am. If you're interested in the shadow work stuff, each class once a month is like 28 bucks, but there is one that's actually 35 because there's a free, like very long, or even if we have to break it up, free coaching, let's say, or it's just a free meeting with me because there's going to be stuff to privately go over. So that one's 35 bucks instead of 28. So it is available at the website below, Stars of the Morning Light. Go to classes. And also, sorry, lots of talking this morning. Also, June's my last chance for Moon Manifesting 101 and Moon Manifesting 102. Last chance. It's like a 30, 30, 30 well, 25 to 30 page PDF along with both with the 2 separate chunks all in one. I mean, it's a pretty in-depth class. But I'm going to do it in July and then I got to move on. So, um, if you're interested in that, I would start booking for that now. Well, okay. Happy Sunday afternoon, Father's Day, and I finally, um, I gotta say, I'm very grateful for this day because it was so horribly hot last week. I mean, I remember last week's message or Friday's message, at least I was like, oh, the wind came through, cooled things down, and I, for the first time in well over a month, I was able to walk for a longer time with my dog. So we went to a park and I got like a mile walk in. So I am so grateful for that. I'm grateful for the weather. I'm grateful for some of the exercise. I'm just grateful, you know. Oh, Lindsay's interview guest spot will be aired tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Yeah, it was a good conversation. I really enjoy her. I very, very much enjoy her. Where we even, before we aired, we were talking and or recorded. We're the same age. I could tell, like, when she was talking, I was like, yeah, she's speaking the same language. Um, so, as we know, I get these messages from the Akashic Records. And, a week or so ago, they gave me 3 names. And I first thought I had to cram all that into one message. And then it was like, no, 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 break it up, which is excellent. Um, I will tell you this middle message, the middle name, this was still difficult for me. Because I was like, I don't know where to go with this. Like, I think I know where to go, but I'm not sure. So I did go into the records briefly this morning just to be like, I don't know if I'm going to get this right. I hate questioning myself, and I'm not questioning the records. It's just, you want to know why, ladies and gentlemen? Last week we talked about Remy, and we're going to actually read Remy again just for a nice little reminder. I know Remy. Remy's great. For spirituality and all the greatness, read Remy. For today, they gave me Spock. Like Star Trek Spock. Not Dr. Spock. Like literally Star Trek Spock. Hey, Coke Queen. And I'm like, Spock? What am I doing with Spock? Gosh. I'm not, my mom was a Trekkie. I mean, a different generation, I watched Star Trek, The Next Generation. So I'm like, Spock, what am I supposed to do with this? So then I started researching Leonard Nimoy and started looking at like best quotes from Spock and this and that. Man, I was all over the place because I could look at one quote or read one of his quotes and it's like, that's one concept, then this concept. Yeah. I love him. I love him, Jules. I love Spock. I just was like, I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be going with this. And then my husband out of nowhere, because I was like, I have Spock, Brad. I don't know what's going on. He was like, Spock. And he was like, well, did you know that, one of the biggest things about Spock was that he was half human and like the half Vulcan. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. And he was like, well, the main, issue there was that, the Vulcans don't have any emotions. And so he's always struggling with the human side of him. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, biologically he's Vulcan, which Vulcans were all analytical, logical, reason, very highly intelligent, but he had this human mother. So, and then I was like, okay, so I remember the episode where like he got a tear, or maybe it was a movie. He got a tear, and I was like, oh, Spock's crying. Oh my goodness. Well, then I started like, of course, looking into things. He actually there's more than just that scene. Like there were emotions being shown by Spock multiple times and different various emotions, anger, crying, sad. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm still going, okay, I think I know where I'm going with this. I think I do. But I double checked with the records this morning. And I said, Courtney, tie it into the blog, because I wrote a blog this past week as well. You can see it at starsonmorninglight.com, talking about higher point of view, higher consciousness, especially in today's world. And I was like, okay. So last week we talked about Remy, and I'm going to read one of his poems again that we covered last week. Yeah, I agree. Cold Queen just said, what has saved humans to this point is our compassion. Yeah, and it's so normally also, and I did pull a card from the deck. I often talk about the energies that are happening right now. Guys, the solstice is happening. That beautiful solstice, and it's also, if we don't know, It is World Unity Week right now. World Unity Week. And I did not know something that Lindsay, when I was recording with her earlier, that song that I posted way at the top of the chat, and I'll try to maybe put it in the description below, and definitely with Lindsay's tomorrow. That is a song that we can all sing, and they give all variations of all languages, and everyone is singing the song. And tune in tomorrow for the talk with Lindsay, because she taught me something about singing together. That was fascinating. But it is World Unity Week, and as we try to move in higher consciousness, because that's what we're really talking about today, is we're going to be talking more about the mental, the relax the fears, because we're talking about the mental today. Last week was more the spiritual with Remy. Now it's more the higher consciousness. And next week, I guess I'll just put a spoiler out there. The name they gave me for next week was Samuel Earl Jones, like Mufasa. Mufasa and Darth Vader. Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting show too, because we're going to be talking about the body. Mind, soul, body here. And that one I got real easy. I always get the last part easy compared to the first couple. That song, though, it is Love, Peace, Harmony. And we are in World Unity Week. I suggest listening to it. Sing it. We can all sing it. And it's to link us together. And as Coke Queen just said, it's compassion is pretty much what has kept us surviving here. Oh, Lori just said Spock had a brother that acted like a human. I did not know that, Lori. Fascinating. So going back to Spock. So I'm watching all this stuff, and it was all of his really good lines. And I'm thinking, okay, this is all reason, logic. Am I going with that route? And then Brad brought up the thing that I didn't really know, like he's half human. I mean, I knew, but I didn't really understand, I guess, at the time growing up. And I was like, And I know this is supposed to be mental because they said it's for the mental. So I went, I pulled a card before I continue. And it's interesting because I don't I pull a card. I do my thing. I say, this is for the message for today. Give me something for the message. And it literally pulled number 17, consciousness. The frequency of consciousness supports our ability to focus our attention on all the multidimensional aspects that show up so that we can include them into our reality. I'm going to hold it up. And yeah, my camera definitely is not going to do this justice because maybe if I go back more. No. Okay. Because there is, those are a million little fainted circle bubble things. It's just so pretty. It's just so pretty. And I find it interesting too, because then you guys are not going to be able to see it, but around the top layer is actually kind of they're not bubbles. It's like a break link, like a chain link kind of in a way, but it's broken going all the way around. And when I was looking at this card, I'm like, oh my goodness, on Friday's show, because I think some of you heard it, when Toth was looking at all those flames in the vast darkness, and it said there was a veil of night around, like a circle of night around them, representing the death that we all have to go through, but then this beautiful light. But there is that veil of night around it. And as I was looking at this card, I was like, wow, okay. Consciousness. It's got all these amazing bubbles. It's got all this light. Maybe if I just turn this light away from me, which I can't. Oh, now I'm breaking stuff. It's got all these amazing bubbles in there. And if we get real close, yes. Oh, maybe you can see it. Those little chinks, like those little cuts in this circle around that are not actually bubbles. I started thinking, what if that's the representation of like that death, that it surrounds our flame, surrounds our consciousness, surrounds it. And the more we develop our consciousness, the more we can focus our attention on all multidimensional aspects. Maybe that's what starts chinking away, cutting away at that entrapment, right? Right? And so that is actually what we're going to be talking about. I'll read it one more time. It's so wonderful. One day I'm going to have a new fancy camera. I'll become a fancy pants with all sorts of fancy stuff. The frequency of consciousness supports our ability to focus our attention on all the multi-dimensional aspects that can show up, so that we can include them into our reality. I also am happy that it picked that card, because we do need to relax our fears. We do. We need to relax them. There's so much stuff going on that has the fears heightened, our emotions heightened, when really if we heighten our consciousness, we can see all these multidimensional aspects and bring them into our reality, instead of just seeing our supposed reality. Let's read real quick what we read from Remy last week, and then I want to talk about higher consciousness. I'm not sure how long this is going to be, because I know some people are doing stuff today, some people are not. So I'm kind of just going with the flow. Remy said, "The worm's awakening. This is how a human can change. There's a worm addicted to eating grape leaves. Suddenly, he wakes up. Call it grace, whatever, something wakes him, and he's no longer a worm. He's the entire vineyard, the orchard too, the fruit, the trunks, a growing wisdom and joy that doesn't need to devour." We went through that last week, and I did want to say it, because we have this worm devouring everything. Something wakes him up. I love how he writes, call it grace, call it whatever. And that's the thing, guys. Everybody kind of wakes up differently. Everybody wakes up maybe in different stages or huge epiphanies or whatever it may be. Whatever it may be, call it grace, whatever. He's no longer a worm. We're no longer having to think the way that we always did and devour. And he starts to see with wisdom and joy that he is not just this worm, he is the vineyard. He is the grapes. He is the trunk. He is the all. And Coke Queen kind of mentioned where I was going with this, because I want to pose a question. I love posing questions, especially with weekly goals. Let's pose some questions to mull over through the week. If the all is you, it's me, it's everything, the all is all the cosmos, good, bad, indifferent, black, white, purple, orange, it all is all, then how can all be bad? You see what I'm saying? I think we spend so much time, because it's in our human programming, that we see the bad, we think the bad, we feel the bad, our emotions override. But as we learn from Hermes, as we learn from Thoth, as we learn all this stuff, there's balance, there's order, there's cause and effect, rhythm. There's all this stuff happening. I know we've all been talking about it for a lot. Oh, hey, John Price. I know we've been talking about it. Oh, and Seeker of Truth. I'm sorry, I might have missed you. We've all been talking about it for quite a while, but this channel is also for those who are just getting hip to some stuff. And we forget oftentimes what that's like, that first shock or that first layer kind of coming off. I don't know why this just popped in my head, but I'm going to say it. I'm not the biggest fan of Paul from the Bible. I'm just not. That's my personal thing. I think some of the writing was really great, but I'm not a big fan of his. I don't know why this popped in my head, but it is written in the Bible that when Christ met Paul, immediately it says the scales from his eyes fell away. Well, a lot of us take that as like the veil of the world fell away. But I will tell you also, ladies and gentlemen, I think it literally meant scales. Literally. What has scales? Just saying. I think there's a massive transformation. Now, do I think he's, didn't still have some attributes of possibly those who have scales? I think he did. But it says scales fell from his eyes. Meaning, the reason I brought this up is that things can change. Even those who might have scales covering their eyes, they can fall away. They can drop to their knees and fall away from them. So, yeah, Sue Trigger. Seeker of Truth. I use it for a lot of references. I was raised to read it as a history book, the Bible, and I did that. But then I also went real deep into Christianity for about 5 years, and then real deep into the Jewish roots of Christianity and Jewish mysticism. And I've studied it all, guys. I've studied so much, and the stuff that I haven't studied yet. Oh, I'm getting there. Oh, I will. So it is what is said, though, and it's interesting because no preacher will read it as the scales. But like I said, I bring that up because that right there is a representation. Things can change. Things that are really for bad, evil, they can be seen the light as well. I know I know everybody's going, oh, I don't know, Courtney. I don't know, Courtney. I think it can. I think it can. But it takes a being of like a Christ consciousness, of like a Buddha, of like a, these great prophets and beings and ascended beings. That's really all it is. We're no different than them. Um, it takes them and the light they are releasing, all that they have going on with them, to remove those scales from those kind of beings, right? For us, though, it does take a higher point of view. So literally, we can see higher consciousness as just higher point of view. And I'm going to assume everybody here took some form of, English class, and we understand what what POV is. It's that third person, higher point of view, seeing it from another angle, way above, seeing all aspects. Focus our attention on all multidimensional aspects that show up, so that we can include them into our reality. And I think that's why they said, Courtney, look at Spock. He was able to do that. Every time there's I'm looking at some episode and it's one of his big scenes, he is showing everybody basically what's really going on, because he's looking at it at a much higher point of view. So we are able to do that as well. But it does take that higher consciousness. It takes looking at it from way up here. And it takes some of the principles. For so long we're in this principle of cause and effect. Cause and effect. I mean, we've been watching the dramatic play, stage play, whatever it is, of cause and effect throughout all the time that we are consciously aware of. We've seen it. And here's the deal. We can actually change that at any time. But it takes all of us shifting our cause and effect. So we see our cause and effect, we live it out, we feel it, we experience it. Then we see the world stage cause and effect, we live it, we experience it. If we would literally just look a little bit higher and see how all is connected, and we change our cause and effect, because we have free will. Some will call it ultimate free will. Some actually try to say we don't have free will. I can guarantee you we do. And we change it. And if we're looking at it from a higher point of view, we can then see the ripple effect of it out. Now imagine if we all did that. Everybody at a much bigger grand scale in this World Unity Week that we're in. And it doesn't have to be anything so huge. It could be this habit that I have that's really not serving me or anyone else. I'm gonna do what I can to get rid of it. This mindset that I have that's not serving me or anyone else, I'm gonna try to get rid of it. I'm gonna use my mantras that will support my inner thought and change my dialogue, so I can better serve others. It could be very simple tasks. It could be smiling at people. It's very interesting. Many people, I grew up with everybody kind of smiling at each other, and then that went away, and then it kind of came back, and now it's going away again. Because we're all in our heads about all this fearful stuff. And what we think will be, thoughts become words and words become things. So we can change the course of the all, as we look at it from here, from multidimensional aspects that we can bring into our reality, because we're making our consciousness higher. We can change so much. Also with rhythm. I mean, the sister to cause and effect is rhythm. You're not gonna have the two. You're not gonna have the two. I swear, she's always either ahead or right behind of cause and effect. That's she's like the sister to them. And she, as we all know, that pendulum has been over in rhythm, stuck here for so long. But when you come out of our little bubble here on this planet and you look from a higher angle, at multi-dimensional angle of what's really going on, you can see that rhythm is about to swing heavily over to the other side, especially if we all change the cause and effect. That's who she is. She literally is like that's the best way to explain who she is. She is either before cause and effect or right after cause and effect, and she is always around it because she is like this. She's a sister just hanging out, tagging along, or being bossy and pushing them around. Well, that's how I see rhythm. God love rhythm. Let me check in with you guys real quick. Yeah, True Seeker, I do actually understand what you're saying. Or I'm sorry, Seeker of Truth. I am so sorry. Um, yeah, so Seeker of Truth, I'm with you. Um, I'm really with you because, like I said, I guess anybody want a little backstory about Courtney? I was actually raised with Native American beliefs from my father and like a weird mixture of like Druid, Buddhist stuff from my mother. But they always said, study them all and you figure it out. Every answer to them was you figure it out. I swear. But they also raised me like I'm my own master. You decide whatever you want to do, Courtney. And I was very unsuccessful with that growing up, by the way. I did need guidance. Happy Father's Day to any of the fathers out there. Thank you for guiding your children. Um, uh, but there was a time in my life in my early 20s that I went hardcore into Christianity, which I'm very thankful about, because at that time is when I learned unconditional love from reading the Bible without any outside influences. But I will tell you, yes, Seeker of Truth, yeah. Over a course of, I don't know, a few years, man, the lies in the book just started showing up everywhere, and I couldn't avoid it anymore. I literally could not avoid it. And then, of course, I then started reading the Nagamati scriptures, which are a whole lot of the scriptures that were not allowed in the Bible, especially about Christ consciousness and him trying to say, hey, you literally are no different than I. Everything I do, you can do. Same as Thoth. Once again, I'm very stuck on this. Thoth never called himself a god. He's no different than us. We can do what he does. Same with Christ. Christ was trying to say the same message, but of course those didn't end up in there. So I agree with you, Seeker. I didn't grow up with it. Oh, but I will say my mother came from a very hardcore Catholic family, Irish Catholic, Chicago Irish Catholic, that if I had to go to church with my grandma, I wasn't allowed to do any of the stuff that anybody was doing in that service because I hadn't been confirmed and all that jazz. And I never heard the end of it over and over. Oh my gosh, guys, even on her deathbed, my grandmother, even on her deathbed, I'm kneeling next to her. She's on her deathbed. I'm sitting there. I'm saying goodbye, all that jazz. I told her I had met a guy and, this and that. I'm telling you, she said I was not allowed to marry anyone who was not Irish, and definitely I could not marry anyone who was not Catholic. That was on her deathbed. I was not allowed to marry anyone who was not Irish and definitely not Catholic. Like, she could maybe look over the Irish thing. Catholic, though. If he was not Catholic, she basically said in so many words, like, you will make me roll over in my grave. And if you do that to me, I'm probably not going to pray for you in heaven, and so you will go to hell. That's what. Yeah. Yes. So I get it. I get it, guys. I get it. Oh my goodness. And I gotta tell you, I was still actually kind of afraid that when I finally actually met my husband, his last name was Irish, and I said, "Are you Christian? I'm scared because I wasn't even." And he was like, "Well, I was raised Catholic," and I'm thinking, "That's good enough. That's good enough." God, that woman was terrifying. Oh, and she was all 4'11". Okay, she was 4'11", and she was the most terrifying human being. Oh my God. Anyway, so there you go. Yeah, that's how it goes, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sure you guys can kind of have some funny jokes sharing there of our experiences, especially if you were raised Catholic. They are nothing against the Catholics. I know wonderful, beautiful Catholic people. Most of my family's Catholic. I love them. It's just stuff like that is like, whoa, whoa. She didn't care about anything else. Like, you're dying, lady. Okay. Um, I totally got off track there. I apologize. Um, the point of view, like it says in the card of consciousness, focus our attention on all multidimensional aspects that show up so that we can include them into our reality. I titled this Relax the Fear. And I'm posing the question again. If all is all is all is all. Like, it's not just all that's here on the planet and us and the plants and the trees and the birds and it's not just all is all. All is the cosmos. All is the beings there. All is past that. Past that. All is stuff that we cannot even imagine. All is also all of the multidimensional. All the other worlds that are happening simultaneously. The all is the all. The all is the all. So how can the all be completely bad? It can't. It literally can't. It's not possible. So when we're talking about point of view and talking about pulling these multidimensional things or even seeing the world differently, putting on these glasses of higher consciousness, instead of seeing the lack, the fear, the oh no, world war, whatever, this is the end. This is the end. And the end of what? I don't even understand that. I don't know what. We'll do it right over again if it does. But I will say the time now is that we don't have to. It's so awesome. I think I talked about that in the last video. We right now, oh, that's what I was starting with. The energies, guys. So I know this summer solstice coming up. Yay. Or the spring solstice, I mean. Not the spring solstice. It is the summer solstice. Yeah. Yeah. 5D dimensionally, higher consciously level is what is a whole lot of what Coke Queen was talking about with it's compassion for self and compassion for others. And in that is also, we start stripping away judgment of self, judgment of others. We, in 5D, we just start allowing people to be who they are and where they are with their life and who they are and what they do. We just, okay. We also allow the world to just, okay, you are doing what you do. I'm going to do what I do. I can only control me. I can only do what I do. Okay. Because we see how things are all connected. We see how the all cannot be bad. We pull in these other things from other multi-dimensions. We pull in other point of view that sees, actually, this is all work. This has all the potential to work out in our favor greatly. I mean, it does. It has all the potential. And we learn how to change our life of cause and effect. So, guys, we really got to wrap our head around the all. We really have to do that. And if cause and effect are creating all this scenarios over here that we all keep seeing, then all we got to do is stop seeing it and look at the other aspect of the all. I mean, I'm really trying to make this very simple. There's so much to the all, but yeah, we focus on like this corner of the all that's all yucky and gruck and bleh. Why do we do that? Why do we focus on like this one little corner of the all? Because, oh, it's in my face and it's the world and oh, it's going to affect me. What? There's like, there's so much more to the all. And that is amazing. It is way outbalancing this crap. This is just, this is like a puddle of mud, but yet we make it so big, you know? Just don't step over it or, step in it. Just step over it. And I know I'm kind of cutting jokes here but it really can be that easy. It really can. Especially when you start acknowledging all is all. This is not. And so then you can also see the potential. Like out of that puddle of crud could grow a beautiful tree. But we're still focused on this horrible mud instead of how it could grow a beautiful tree. Sorry. They did give me Spock, so my mind is like in all these different variations of what Spock said. So how do we do this? How do we look into heightening our scope? How can we see things from a higher plane? Well, first, it does take acknowledging that you are more than capable, more than capable of letting go and saying, okay, crud, okay, mud, okay, puddle of mud, all this crap right here. Okay, I see you. I'm going to step over you, but I'm going to let you just be that puddle of mud that you are. I'm not going to try to fight you because you're going to dry up anyways. And heck, in the meantime, maybe a nice little seed can get dropped in there and grow into a beautiful tree. First, it takes an acknowledging that, which that does take some time, guys. It really does. Because we're so hit with subliminal stuff. I did a huge paper years and years ago about subliminal messaging, especially through advertising. And at that time, the report that I was working off of was, I think, based on a 1999 report or something, that it said at that time that we had 2,000 advertisements shown to us every day. Well, damn, that's like almost 20 years ago. So I can't imagine what the amount would be today, especially with all this internet stuff. That goes in. And that is a part of then now the consciousness, right? Subconsciousness, consciousness, they're working together. So, oh my goodness. What do we do about that? So, okay, I can imagine going, okay, this is actually just a lot of crud that will most likely dry up, it'll dissolve, it'll do whatever course it needs to do. I have compassion towards all people and places affected by things. I send love to it. I'm going to drop some seeds, maybe, that sort of thing. But I'm not going to let it control my mind and thoughts. I'm not going to let it control what I do. Okay, so we're going to walk right over that puddle. And then, oh my goodness, we go out in the world, just driving down Main Street, billboard, billboard, advertisement, advertisement, advertisement. I mean, it's just, and then we're on the internet here. So, okay, we can accept this crud. Oh, this looks like so much more. How do I handle all these subconscious things coming at me? Because, repetition, as so many facets use repetition, because then it gets even more ingrained into our subconscious and into our conscious, into our waking thoughts. So, what do we do? What do we do? Because we're human. We got to go to the store and pass like 15 signs on the way at least, right? And don't those signs always go, oh yeah, I do need to get a new pair of shoes. Oh man, I do. Yeah, I don't really feel like making dinner. Maybe I should just pick dinner up. That's what those signs do. They're designed that way. Yes. I will tell you that Nike swish, that's a check mark, which is a very ancient Egyptian symbol. It literally represents, and especially like even when we just give ourselves a nice little check mark. Oh, job well done. That's what it tells our mind, that check mark. Job well done. You succeeded. Good job. And it's a very ancient, ancient symbol. They know exactly what they're doing. They do. So, okay, what do we do about that? Almost impossible, it feels, right? Almost impossible. I started to a long time ago. Let's say I do have to drive down to the store and I'm passing all this stuff. Every time I knew, at least I started this way because a lot of people are at the beginning. Every time I acknowledged my eyes are seeing that sign, I would then tell my mind, I reject that. That is not of me. And I probably looked like a crazy person back in the day with my windows rolled down going, I reject that. I reject that. I reject that. I don't care. Now, our subconscious also picks up everything, and it picks up things that we're acknowledging or not acknowledging. That's where meditation comes into play. You can, in meditation, and I'm going to talk about dreams for a moment too. You can, in meditation, ask your subconscious to release all of the subliminal messages that do not serve you, are not good for you. Release them in that meditation, release them in that moment. You can. I do it. I've done it for years. So first I had to start with oh my goodness, I'm seeing all these signs. I reject that. I reject that. I reject that. And guys, I do that with everything. I reject that. It's not of me. I reject that. That's not of me. If I hear something on the news, I reject that. That is not of me. I don't know what they're talking about. I reject that. I do it with signs. And then yes, in meditation I started, God, I don't know how many years ago. Early 2000s. I mean, yeah, it's been a while. Once I really, because I wrote that paper and then I really opened my eyes. That was actually a huge awakening for me. Because it was also tied in with some other stuff. And to start noticing how much we are actually bombarded. It was a big awakening for me. So I've actually done this stuff for quite a while. And then, yes, you can, and I probably now in my life, back then I did it all the time. Like I would go into a quick meditation at night and just be like, release everything because I don't want this. Now I probably do it. Respectfully, I want to be honest. I probably do about once a week. Also, your dreams, so everybody knows, your dreams not every dream means something. I love people. I really do love people. Not every dream means something. A lot of times, our dreams is our subconscious filtering out all that junk. But what's odd is it's going to present itself in weird, fascinating ways. Or it's releasing junk from so long ago that we wake up and we're like, oh my goodness, do I still have issues with that? No, you don't. It's actually your subconscious just went even further back and was like, oh, we can get rid of this. So I know people that at this time, they're starting to have very difficult dreams. Very difficult dreams. And it's because of all that we're hearing, seeing, exposed to, that their dreams are trying to release it for them. That's what the subconscious does. It's working with the dreams. We actually do more healing, more processing, more growth, all of it while we're sleeping, because it's our subconscious that's doing the work. And it's a mighty, mighty tool. And your subconscious is definitely connected to the all. So it's really the all just going, yeah, this is junk. This is junk. Okay. So please remember, we do not have to interpret every dream. Not at all. Because that can just lead to even more confusion. And sometimes we just need the dream to be what the dream is and allow it to be that way because it was processing for us. Same as when we ask in our meditation, please release these, I don't want to refer to them as downloads, but the subliminal messages, the propaganda. Please remove it. Yeah, because a lot of people are having some hardcore dreams right now. Especially that last full moon. She was a powerful one and a doozy. She was a doozy. Lots of awareness in June, guys. June is very much an awareness month. So the stuff that was really presented to you around that full moon is stuff me too. I'm including myself, trust me. It's stuff that we still need to look at and really kind of get a handle on it. And mine was judgment based out of fear for the all, if that makes sense. Yeah, I still had some of that. I was still, let's say I wasn't really looking at the puddle, but I was looking at my own personal puddle. And I could see, oh yeah, I have compassion, but I still do have some judgment based out of my fears towards this stuff in my personal life. It's got to go. It's got to go. I'm glad I got that awareness. I'm glad that full moon said, let me shine the light on this, sister. And I said, thank you, Mama. I'm a bit tired and I didn't even know why. Thank you, Mama. All right. Speaking of which, if you want to know how to really work with the moon and manifest, your last chance is this July for what Moon Manifesting 101 and 102. Yeah, and it was going on with a lot of people. A lot of people this past moon was rough. And it was that kind of stuff because, we want to think that we are these beautiful, compassionate, loving beings, which we are. Still living the human experience. Still sorting it out. Still having to reach this higher POV level, this higher consciousness. So we just talked about how to clean out our subconscious. Help him and her and it, the all, help it. And I always point back here because I'm like, yeah, it's below here. It's my subconscious. It's my prefrontal cortex. It's my frontal lobe. Which, by the way, guys, your frontal lobe is where you get the feeling of the meaning of things. A lot of people are trying to say this is where the soul is, of course, the third eye, all of that, because that is where we get the psychological definition is really the feeling of the meaning of things. Because we identify with our feelings, we identify with this prefrontal cortex, which is our perception. Which either you're At a lower conscious level, perceiving, and lower is anger, fear, me, mine, me, lower. Like how pride and courage are very close to each other on the scale. And then you got most of everybody walking around like, yeah, I do want to love and I do want to, but today's world is crap. So I do have to think about myself and I do have to take care of mine. And I'm going to focus on that. And if I get some time, maybe I'll do something good for somebody else. Or maybe if I get some time, I'll work on my stuff, right? That is the majority. That's the majority. And and the moralistic attitude. Well, if I'm just good, if I'm just a good person, then this should all work out in that. And then we start getting to higher levels, your love level, your compassion level, true compassion, true love, the one that gets to say, okay, go do you, be you. You're cool as long as you're not killing anybody. That's cool. Okay. And even those that are killing, okay, like that's your story. That's kind of what's got to go. That's what's going on here for maybe hopefully the beautiful tree to be planted. It's true compassion, true love that is attached to the all doesn't it sees what's really going on there. A bunch of hurt people that are hurting people. You know. But how can we get to that level and beyond? The level to actually pull other dimensional aspects in, to manifest, to call in the love and light to the world, to plant that seed in the muck. How do we do that? My greatest form is meditation, but that's because I'm skilled in it. I was taught it at a very young age, and then I just kind of kept rolling with it. So for me, it's meditation. Some people, it's actually music. My husband's, it's music. It is. Period. It's how he can escape reality and he goes into a whole nother dimension, let me tell you. For some, it is learning, but it's learning, how would you say? Learning and taking the principles and the things that they learn and actually action with it. They got to do action. I know a lot of that's more of a masculine energy that usually goes that way, that they have to take what they learn and then they have to put it into practical action. Then out of that action, they're like, whoa, okay, I'm up here now. I get it. I see what's going on. Others, it is they do need counseling or coaching, some aspect like that. I do believe, though, we can all do it by nature. All of us. If we can, so no matter what form you have going on, there's so many different ways and many people find their own. Many are already able to tap into like guides and this and that. And I do find it interesting. I want to point out the people that can talk to guides don't necessarily have a higher consciousness. Please know that that's a very big distinction. There's a ton of people that can talk to a ton of things. That's just because they got their antennas up, okay? That does not mean that they're actually at a higher conscious level into 5D of compassion, of releasing the judgment. And in 7, there is no judgment, like period. You know what I mean? So doesn't necessarily mean just because they're talented and they're psychic and they're skilled in those areas does not mean that they're doing any kind of different point of views. Some do, though, and some actually learn that way. But I do believe, as I was going back, we all can do it with the nature. Our purpose really is for Gaia in so many ways. And however that looks for individuals, it is how they look. Some it's really to vastly get into what goes on with her and change the environment and heal the environment. Other it's one-on-one connections. Um, Others it's all sorts of stuff. Okay, because when we heal us, we're healing her, and we and the earth, we are hot commodities. We are the most precious thing in the cosmos. We really are. We are the most precious thing in the cosmos that we know of. We are the most precious, Gaia and us, and we are the most interlinked together. There is no us without her, and there is no her without us. And so we can always use nature to reach higher conscious levels. We can ask her to help us with that. We can speak with the animals, speak with the trees, be in nature, and she will guide the way. I can guarantee it. Hands down, the natives knew it. All ancient beings knew it. All of them, especially our natives. And I'm so happy that the rise of the native nations is coming. It's here. They're going to rise again, as they should be. There's tons of people out in all across the globe that I know, people in India, I know people in Europe, I know people all over the place that are now studying our native shamanisms, because they were, in my humble opinion, the closest to understand higher conscious levels and higher everything, and the care and well-being of society with nature. It's people are starting to learn that that's exactly how we should be living. And so that, because of that, ladies and gentlemen, as most of you guys see in the chat are agreeing with me, nature works every time, hands down. She will identify something to you. She will tell you. She is there. So I wasn't really sure how that was going to go, because they gave me Spock, guys, and it's like Spock. That's the part that needed to be addressed the most, the emotional part, the emotional. So Spock, as was the name given for this message, and I do apologize. I'm going to remind anybody who is now just listening. I did an interview with Lindsay from Rogue Ways just before this, so my mind is still kind of in that interview. Fabulous interview. But I kind of was like, oh man, I'm going live, and then I'm still kind of working with this Spock program thing going on here. But as I started with at the beginning, Spock was half human, half Vulcan. Vulcan is that reason, that logic, seeing it from a completely different point of view, which I tend to be. I tend to be that way. But as you guys could see, even in last week, I was a crying baby last week in my shows, because I was just so passionate and so feeling the human desire for change, the human desire for freedom from this bondage. And so my emotions were there. But as of lately, people's emotions have been very, very high. And we're starting to lose grasp again of the higher point of view. It's interesting, like, it's this weird balance. And the scales are always shifting, as far as, if we're up here looking great at our higher point of view, we have our higher consciousness going well then our emotions are still here, and we might not be recognizing them as much as we can, because we're spending too much time with logic. Maybe we're spending too much time with the whole picture, when many of us are absorbing and feeling the human feelings. Let's just be real, human feelings about it. Well, then, because of rhythm, because she is the sister of cause and effect, eventually logic is going to fall and it's going to be nothing but feelings. It's going to be nothing but feelings. And then we're doing this. Do, do. Cause and effect. Rhythm is moving up and down, cause and effect. I'm crying on my shows. And then I'm like, why am I crying? Everything's beautiful and fine. And the all is perfect and wonderful. Why am I crying? And that's what we've been doing. It's what we've been doing as precious, wonderful humans. We, 1 minute we let go of the chaos, and then next minute, oh, the world's ending again. Oh, we're going to let go of the chaos. Nope, the world's ending again. It's what we're doing, meaning we are still allowing, the rhythm and the cause of effect of that gameplay, of that game, of that play, whatever you want to call it. We're still allowing that to control us, even if we're trying to control how we see it. We're still in the motion. So how are we going to break free of the motion? How are we going to, it's fine if we're kind of going up and down this way about something maybe vastly different than what we have been. Everybody, the world's going to end. The world's going to end. Yeah, the ending and the beginning and the end. You can't have one without the other. And honestly, cool. This, what we've been living, folks, what we've been living for a very, very always long time, nothing that we can remember. I don't care how old you are. It's been crappy. It's been really crappy. I never enjoyed being here until just recently when I said, oh, I can actually be a part of the solution and not the cause and effect. I can actually be a part of this, change all this around. So actually, cool. If that's all going to end, cool. I'm not going to worry so much about, the outcome, especially when I know if we take cause and effect as our own, instead of letting it rule us, we rule the cause and effect. We tell rhythm, hey, you got to move, sister. You got to go. You got to keep going. You got to swing back. If we do that with our good intentions for all of mankind, no matter what group, all mankind, humans, earth, all, we have the power then. But we don't ever think we do because we're still cause and effect. And then our emotions, and then we're trying, and then the emotions come into play and knock us off our block again. So am I saying be Valken the whole time? No, it's actually not possible for us because we are human. Hence the struggle of Spock. He struggled with his human side. He didn't know, how do I take all my reason and logic when I have like these feelings here? What is this? He didn't know how to handle it. Well, yeah, it's kind of crappy because that's what we're being asked to do right now. How do we maintain this POV this higher consciousness that can see all these multidimensional stuff? How can we do that when our emotions are telling us to be scared, be fearful for all of our loved ones, to be sad, to grieve something that we haven't even lost yet, and grieve something that it probably might be a good thing if we lose it? That's what our emotions are telling us. At the whole time as we're trying to be like, no, I need to be a Vulcan. I need to just see this from a different angle and just stay there and know all is great. And unfortunately, it's happening to everybody. It really is. And so, higher consciousness, you got to get out there to nature, release all this stuff, Allow your dreams, allow meditations to relieve the subconscious, and work towards however it works for you. Like I said, for me, higher consciousness is always through meditation, but that's because I was taught at a young age. Everybody's got a different way. I'm not here to express that because I'm not going to list all the million different ways people can do it. Some just do it with breathing. Like literally, I've been to some very fascinating breathing classes in my life. Anybody that does Reiki, a lot of it can be done that way. Regardless, we have to release the fear because the fear is driving the emotions, and the emotions will always have to tip the scale. It will always have to tip the scale because it's not natural. And so we got to balance it out. And so how do we handle the emotions? The same way we handle the higher consciousness. But I'm not here to say that your emotions are wrong. Your emotions are completely right, and it's whatever all of us are feeling. But with our emotions, like I said, it's all about perception. It's all about how that frontal lobe is taking in the feeling of the meaning of things. So we know this is a puddle. Our higher consciousness says, walk right over that damn puddle. Our emotions go, oh, but look at all these people stepping in that puddle. Look at all these people that are like getting muddy. What do I do? That's what our emotions say, right? When our higher consciousness is like, no, just step over it. Stop, the Valken in us. But our emotions say, no. I got to get people out of that puddle. That puddle's horrible. The exact same way that you tap into a higher consciousness is the exact same way you can relieve yourself from the emotions. So, like I said with my husband, if it's music, rock on. Awesome. For me, it's meditation. Everybody has it differently. You can always use nature. That is good for every human being. That's period. So I know this was kind of a weird jumble conversation because I was a little bit unprepared today. I want to focus, and I'm going to admit my faults. I was. I drew card 17, consciousness. The frequency of consciousness supports our ability to focus our attention on all multidimensional aspects that show up so that we can include them into our reality. If you go out into nature right now and you start spending a lot of time in nature, you will start seeing the world of 3D. You will start seeing the world actually of 7. She will present it to you. And in that moment, you will be pulling that multidimensional aspects into reality because it is very present to see, but you can only see it in nature. So I love you all. Thank you for they gave me Spock. Next week's going to be so much easier. I know exactly, and it is going to be about the body and a bit more about nature because they gave me James Earl Jones, Mufasa, who also played Darth Vader. His story, guys, it's so good. I totally resonated and knew exactly what the message needed to be. Spock took me some time. Took me some time. Happy Father's Day to all of you beloved fathers out there. May you get to do whatever your little heart desires today. Yes, that's what Mother's Day is also for that. If people didn't understand that, Mother's Day means that she don't have to do a damn thing. Father's Day means that he don't have to do a damn thing that he don't want to. So I love you all. Please be compassionate to yourself. Definitely be compassionate to yourself. It all starts with compassion, as Coke Queen was saying. It all starts with compassion. Even for that crud puddle of mud that we have to step over, we can step over it and still have compassion for it. It just doesn't mean we have to get dirty. So, as always, and once again, Lindsay's interview will be tomorrow night at 8. Guys, we literally probably wouldn't have stopped talking. That conversation would have kept going. I know many of you saw her on the Wayne Steiger program before. She's going to be on tomorrow night at 8, and it's going to be great. Also, if you want to sign up for part 1 of the shadow work class, that's going to be next Sunday. Get to the website, starsofthemorninglight.com. Or if you really want to build a good relationship with the moon and know how to manifest and maybe see things at a higher level, that's only available now in July. So I love you all. Have a great Sunday. And I'm thinking everybody is beautiful in here and I didn't miss too much of a step. And thank you all. Stay tuned for my Fridays with Toth. Thank you, Jules. Stay tuned Friday at 11 a.m. Man, Toth is my jam. It's going to get even bigger and deeper into the tablets as we move along. So I love you. Namaste. Bye, guys.